Welcome back everybody to the DRA International Endurance Championship. My name is Joe90, I'm your host this afternoon. Alongside me in the commentary booth today we have Husky and Joto assisting me with race direction, and we are about to kick off LMP1 knockout qualifying in round about 3 minutes time. Somebody's just joining the lobby. We'll wait and see if that's our missing LMP1 car. It is not our missing LMP1 car. What on earth is Yalk doing here?
Alright, Alvaric said he's hopping on now.
Yeah, we'll give him a minute and then we'll get underway. Just making sure that everyone's got okay connection of the guys who were on circuit. Yeah, right. There we go, there's our missing LMP1. Right, everyone's here now. Are you guys ready to go? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. I was just asking the drivers if they're ready. I think they all are.
Okay. Right, Right, in that case I'm going to start qualifying now. For everyone watching the stream, for a bit of context, the qualifying session at the minute looks a little bit grey and murky because we're expecting a fairly large amount of rainfall throughout the race and the sessions today. Right, we're starting qualifying now, guys. And we're underway with qualifying. Slightly different format to last season when we were last at Spa. We have 30 litres of fuel on board these LMP1 cars and a damp track for them to contend with. This means that the drivers are all going to have to be making sure that their cars are at the optimum point in terms of performance throughout this lap, and right on the limit as well of what the tyres and the track can give them. Three-second penalty already on Spark Cruiser number 7 car. That presumably will be for cutting the pit lines on pit exit. 3-second penalty as well for the FVR car of Flash. 3-second penalty also for Ruben as he joins the circuit. Interestingly today we have 10 Porsche 919s trying to qualify. We have 2 new ones in these 2 Italian drivers, the 2 PRT cars in the gold and purple liveries. Alvarez is back in the BNR Audi R18. The Spark Cruiser Racing cars working together as well. Both of those being Porsche 919s, as Sparkane goes slightly wide there. Favre just trying to work some heat into his tyres on his way down towards Blanchimont, trying to make sure that he's got enough heat in the tyre on this damp and quite cold track at the moment for his first qualifying lap attempt. Scott in for N3XUS Racing in the Audi R18, deputising for Gumball, who is missing today's race. Ruben back again for Project 1 in the Porsche 919, and Jens and Finn in 2 separate WSR entries. Jens in a WSR Audi, Finn in a WSR Porsche. WSR having quite a busy weekend this weekend. They've got this sim race, and they're also currently rather busy at the Nürburgring. They have multiple cars entered into NLS 1, which is about 5 minutes from ending. Jens will be the first car to set a flying lap here. He's just coming round Stavelot towards Blanchimont now. This circuit rather well suited to the Audi R18s, especially considering that most of their hybrid deployment takes place above 100 miles an hour. Jens sets the bar down at 1:59.9. Finn follows that with a 2 minutes point 7, followed by Walter with a 2:01.9, followed by Maracchio a 2:03.7, followed by Creppy, one of the two Spark Cruiser cars, with a 2:02.7. Sparkane running off the circuit and into the barrier on the final chicane. Sonic now going fastest at 1:59.8, just shy of a tenth faster than the end. Ruben going third now as well. Finn just coming down from Ix towards Pouon. Half a second penalty for track limits through Ix there. That's not ideal, and it will mean that he'll likely have to abort this lap. Flash currently at a 2:01.7. That puts him P5 overall as he comes down through Pouon. We'll see at the next sector line just after Savalo whether he's improving on this lap or not. Jens setting a 1:59.6, retaking pole from Sonic. Flash not improving, 3.5 tenths down in the second sector. Alvarez with a 3-second penalty, leaving the pit lane again. Jens just coming up behind him now, actually. Half a tenth purple over the Sector 1 line at the end of the Kemmel Straight. There appears to be some rain falling as Jens just had the windscreen wiper on there for a moment. Coming down towards the Sector 2 line now, let's see where this lap's at. Half a second down, so there definitely was some rainfall there for a moment. Ruben now charging his way down to Pouon. He seems to be on a fairly quick lap. His last lap 2 minutes point 2. About a tenth and a half faster than his previous best lap. Ruben 100th purple. Coming through the final chicane now. Putting the power down. 1:59.8. That takes him to within 2.5 tenths of Jens at the front of the field, and it closes the gap up to Sonic to less than half a tenth of a second as well. Alvarez now on for his first fast lap of the session. Almost half the session has elapsed already, so Alvarez may be in a little bit of trouble here when it comes to setting a fast lap. Coming through Blanchimont now. Coming up to the start-finish line, he's going to set a 2 minutes .3 on his first lap. That's good enough for P4 at the moment. The cut-off line today being P7 in LMP1. Jens with a relatively comfortable margin right now, 0.1 of a second over Scott in P2. He's probably going to be pitting at the end of this lap just for a little bit more fuel and for some fresh tyres to see if he can improve any further, as Ruben takes 4/10 out of Jens at the start-finish line of 1:59.2 from the Spanish driver. That is unbelievable. Ruben finding even more, another 10.5 purple through Sector 1. This could be on track to break the qualifying lap record here. Now, riding on board as we come through Pouhon. Incredibly fast, 150 miles an hour at the apex. Big slide there coming into that corner. Ruben now 3.5 tenths down. I think he's going to be stopping soon as well and changing over to a fresh set of tyres and a little bit more fuel in order to try and capitalise on this speed. Scott there setting a 1:59.3 before resetting to the pit lane and starting another set of laps. The big question mark now is going to be lying right over the head of Finn, Flash and Walter, as Alvarez sets a 1:59.7. comfortable 4th place as things are right now. He's 6/10 clear of Favre. But Finn, in a rather uncomfortable position, it has to be said at the moment, he is going to have to put everything into this lap to try and improve. And he will still be in one of those 2 positions that are at risk as Finn opts to pit for a fresh set of tyres and fuel, as Walter gets up into that crucial 7th place spot with a 2:01.2. Can anyone else get close to this? Ruben on his outlap, giving that Porsche absolutely everything as well here. It's absolutely critical at this stage of qualifying that the car is performing as optimally as possible, because you're going to be very fast approaching crunch time, where you have almost the same number of laps of fuel on board the car as you do laps in time remaining on the timer. And from the looks of things, Ruben is banking on that number being about 2 laps. The big question, of course, as well, is can he achieve the qualifying lap record here? The record sits at 1:58.6, and he isn't too far away from that now, only 6/10. Alvarez jumping up to P3 at 1:59.4. Ruben 1/2 a tenth purple in the first sector. Big slide coming into Pouhon there for Ruben. It's not ideal. Finn is currently stopped just before the chicane. Is he waiting for a gap to go for a fast lap, or is he waiting to recover the car? It looks like he was waiting for a gap for a fast lap. Some questionable driving there from Flash and from Finn to some degree as well. This is where things are going to start getting really intense now, because we've got both Flash, Finn and Creppy all in the same sort of space as one another, all trying to get fast laps done now. With a minute and a half left on the clock, they're all going to get one more lap after this one. As Jens sets a 1:59.4. That puts him back up to 3rd place, but only by 7/100ths. The top 4 split by less than a quarter of a second. Ruben going even faster now, 59.0, 4 tenths away from the lap record, although he's almost out of fuel now, so I do believe that he may be finishing up where he is. There's over a quarter of a second safe to Scott in the Audi R18, so he doesn't need to improve any further right now. Scott 4 tenths purple in the first sector. This isn't over yet. 5 seconds left on the clock before this becomes the last lap of the session. Now Scott's coming down to the second sector line. Will he have maintained that gap from the first sector? Nearly 4 tenths down at the second sector line. What on earth went wrong there? He didn't seem to have any issues going through the second sector, but all of a sudden to be going from 4.5 tenths up to 4 tenths down, it's not good. So there we are, that's the end of the qualifying session. Our top 3 are Ruben, Scott and Jens, followed by Alvarez, Favre, Finn and Flash. Eliminated from this session are Walter, Marcario, Crappy and Sparkane.
Alright, are we good to have LMGTs begin to flow in, or?
Yep, we just needed
Alright,
the LMPs to leave the lobby.
they're slowly going to start doing so.
Right, so for LMGT, this is going to be interesting because we have, what, 8 LMGTs registered for today? Is it 8, Husky? I'm looking at the
I
document.
believe so, that's what the list says, unless someone else checked in. Where's
Yeah,
Yannick?
it should be 8. Yalk is going to be sitting out the qualifying session, no?
Correct. He will be sitting it out due to his qualifying ban.
Yeah.
That he wasn't able to serve last race.
Yeah. Are we missing a car, Husky?
Yeah, we're missing Yannick at the moment.
Okay.
He should be joining in a second at least. There we go. Find him. Right, there he is. He's joining now.
Cool. This is an absolute Porsche fest today.
No. How many cars are in a Porsche?
We had 10 Porsches in LMP, and we've got another 4 in GT.
Whew.
Although we did eliminate
3 Porsches, was it? No, it was 4.
oh no, we eliminated
4, because it was the 2 PRTs and the 2 SCRTs.
Yeah. Right, is all of the GT cars here?
Yes.
Okay, in that case we'll get underway shortly. Right, is everybody ready to get going in the GT cars, Husky?
I believe so.
Okay. Right, in that case, I will be starting now. Dylan leading us out onto the Kemmel Straight and catching himself a 3-second penalty for cutting the pit lane instantly.
Alright, Joe, hang on. So we've had a development with Ruben. Apparently he cannot make the race because as soon as LMGT qualifying ends, he has to leave like immediately. So basically how it is, we'll bump everyone up a position. So that means...
that's fine. I've got the top 8 anyway.
If I say PRT Walter, we're going to need him back because he's made the grid.
Yep, that's fine.
I just thought I'd let you know because he just told me that.
Right, so we are underway here. Natty leading us round through Blanchemont for the first time with the Audi R8. It is a real Porsche and Audi fest this weekend, to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. We have 1 Audi in LMGT, 4 Porsches in LMGT, and we have 10 Porsches in the LMP1 class, and then we also had 3 Audis in the LMP1 class as well. Now, the Ronin Motorsports NSX just coming round through the final couple of corners to start his first flying lap. This is going to be interesting as the NSX is one of the very few cars on this grid that hasn't actually raced at Spa previously. All of the other cars, the Porsches and the Lamborghinis and the Audi, I believe, have all raced previously in this series at Spa. So this is going to be a completely new car trying to get pole position in its class. The first lap's coming through now. Joto grabbing pole from Sem, followed by Yannick, followed by Natty. Husky setting the next lap, bumping Natty down to 5th. Ronin now just coming down towards the Sector 2 line. This could be a rather interesting lap to see where he ends up, because all of the other cars, like I've said previously, they've all raced here at some point before in this series. So it could be very interesting to see just where these cars end up. As Ronin goes extremely wide there onto the AstroTurf, and a half-second penalty for the measure of it as well. .219.2 for the first lap. Let's see where Natty now ends up. He's on his second flying lap now, just coming up to the start-finish line. .215.8, 4 thousandths away from the pole for Natty. Now let's see where Joto ends up. The last lap, 2:15.8. He's on a fast lap now as well, but with rear bumper damage. Does that mean there's been some contact somewhere? Joto in the pit lane, opting to have a fresh set of Michelins go onto that Porsche. Some extra fuel as well, and a repair to the rear of that car. Ronin setting his first lap at 2:20. Rather gentle pace to start off with. As Sem goes purple through Sector 2 by 1.5 tenths. Natty jumping up to pole of 2:15.6. 6. Sem's still on a fast lap, so this could shake up the order a lot. Sem improving by 3.5 tenths, closing the gap down to pole to 2 tenths. Now the big question here, of course, is what can Husky do about this? He's all the way down in 5th place at the moment, on an out lap as well. Clearly things not going entirely to plan at the moment. There is some rain falling as well at the moment. Dylan currently on a fast lap, coming down to the final chicane. Dylan opts to pit. That's interesting. Yannick continues on, starting his next flying lap. 6 tenths is the gap between himself and 3rd place. Now Yannick on his way to the sector 2 line again. Currently nearly 4 tenths up on his previous best lap. That would put him not quite into 3rd place, but it put him significantly closer. Sem's had a big off at Eau Rouge. There's a large spin there, right into the path of Natty as well. Now the key thing here is obviously as well, Natty has a 3-second penalty. Johto's 2.5 tenths clear with his most recent fast lap. Will Natty have enough time left on the clock to get another 2 fast laps in potentially? Because right now it's incredibly close. Natty now just starting his second to last flying lap. 2.5 tenths off of Johto so far. Grabbing slipstream off one of the Lamborghinis in front of him. Over 1.5 tenths down though through that first sector. That's not ideal. As if we look further down the field, Ronin has made a little bit of an improvement. He's now at a 2:16.9. That places him P6 overall, P8 at the start, as we have one of the 2 JM trackside Lamborghinis serving a qualifying ban for an incident at Daytona. Ronin improving by 3 tenths there. It's not quite enough to put him up into 5th place. And I do believe he is now actually out of fuel to complete any further laps with. Ruben there in the chat saying that Johto's dominance could bore fans. Admittedly, yes, the Nexus Porsches have been incredibly quick consistently, both through Daytona and the qualifying session here as well. Yannick is just parked at Bruxelles for no apparent reason. I think it might have been that he went off the circuit there and was just waiting for a good point to rejoin. Or it could have been that he was parked there to wait for his teammate. Although given the fact his teammate has rear end damage at the moment and doesn't seem to be improving right now, does raise some questions about what exactly he was parked there. Now, as we finish up this session, Natty is currently P2, Johto currently P1, Sam currently P3, Husky P4, although he is coming through on a fast lap. Right, so our qualifying order is Johto in P1, P2 Natty, P3 Sam, P4 Husky, P5 Yannick, P6 Ronin in the NSX and P7 Dylan. P8 will be Yalk as he has now served his qualifying ban. Right, so need to start getting the grid sorted.
Has the other guy shown up yet?
I am looking. No.
Okay, give me a second.
Nice. That was a really good qualifying session, Joto. Yeah. Yeah, no, like the some of the laps for the LMPs seem to be about the same, like they go through that middle sector and drop about 4/10, despite being purple in Sector 1. Mm.
Alright. We should be good to wait for about 5 minutes. I've still got to get Meyer Ricciaro back in here.
Yeah. It's the gantry, so they've got about another car and a half length. Yeah, so it's literally that gantry above you. That's where they've got to go by. Yeah, you're allowed to go basically, if you back up and I'll tell you when to stop. You're allowed to go stop basically anywhere from where you go from that plastic wall that's an addition to the concrete wall. Yeah, you'll be doubling up either just out of the hairpin or just before. I'd suggest splitting just before and then actually lining up coming out of it. Yeah. Odd number, odd numbers to the right, evens to the left in class.
Joe, did you turn off track limits?
I can check. No, I did not.
You might want to do that real quick.
Right, there you go.
There, yeah. Thank you. I'm still trying to get the other LMP1 in, but I don't think any of them can make it. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Mediums and softs. Yeah, they can also go hard. You've just got to pick. They've got to pick between two of them. Huh? Yeah, intermediates are a second compound. Yeah. No, absolutely not. That's odd. I'm just sorting grid orders now.
Alright, so we should be good to start soon, because
Right.
that LMP1 is not coming. Like, I've tried all 4 LMP1s, Walter is out, and the other 3
Yeah.
just are not responding, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, grid is set. We're literally just waiting on basically you guys to be ready, and then we'll go. Are they all ready? Hang on, I made a bit of an oopsie with the grid order. There we go, fixed it. Right, I take it from that the fact that everyone's screaming that they're ready, we'll start racing then. Can you tell Scott that for the formation lap I want about 120 k's out of him, so about 70 miles an hour. I've already hit 3. Just remind them about spacing, otherwise this is their one opportunity to catch a warning for it. After this it's going to be 5 seconds every single time. If Sonic wants to ramp it up to about 100 miles an hour, he can do, just so that we get going a little bit quicker. So for our starting order we have Scott, followed by Jens, followed by Alvarex, followed by Favre, Finn and Flash in the LMP1 class. Sorry. In the LMGT class we have Johto leading, followed by Natty, Sem, Husky, Yannick, Ronin, Dylan, and bringing up the rear after his qualifying ban, Yalk. Yes. Yeah, I want you to drop down to about 60. Yeah. Yeah, Gumball can, well not Gumball, Sonic, sorry, can speed up a little if he wants before he goes, but... And we're underway at Spa. Now, Sonic leading us away up through Eau Rouge, followed by Jens, followed by Alvarex. Favre being fought with by Finn and Flash all together now. Now the GT start as well. Johto leads us through Eau Rouge, followed by Natty, Sem and Husky. Yannick, Dylan, Ronin and Yalk bringing up the rear of this group. Ronin being boxed in just a little bit on the start. LMP1 is running smoothly so far as they come down towards Ix. Down through Ix now. Scott still leading, followed by Jens and Alvarex. The top 3 all Audis in LMP1. Johto still leading comfortably from Sem and Natty in LMGT, followed by Husky, followed by Yannick. Ronin is under pressure from Dylan, and Dylan is under massive pressure from Yalk coming down through Pouhon. While the track is dry at the moment, that doesn't mean that there's not more rain on the way. There has been rain forecast for today's race. So it is entirely possible that we will be seeing some. Alvarex and Jens appear to have had a moment. Jens has damage, Alvarex does not. But they've both dropped to P5 and P6 in LMP1. It's allowed Finn, Favre and Flash to jump up 2 spots each. Now looking further back in the field, in LMGT, The fight is really starting to hot up as there's a cluster of about 5 cars all behind Husky at the moment, all jostling for position and trying to be in the same bit of space. That includes both Nova Porsches, one of the JM trackside Lamborghinis and the Ronin Honda. This could get interesting very quickly if somebody misreads a move. Scott now 5 seconds clear of Finn in P2 after only 2.5-3 laps now. Behind them Jens and Alvarez. Alvarez up to P4 again, starting to close up to 5. Jens with rear damage, starting to fall away just a little bit. Johto still leading in LMGT as the rain starts to fall. The windscreen wipers and rain lights are on those cars. The LMGT fight really starting to get close here as Dylan leads a gaggle of cars, 3 cars all fighting together, Yalk and Ronin, all trying to be on the same millimetre of tarmac. This is not going to end well, and I can see it ending really badly here. Jens opting to stop early to repair that damage. That's going to allow Johto to pass an LMP1 car for position potentially if this pit stop doesn't finish up soon. And there we go, Jens leaving the pit lane. He is going to be 14th. He's going to be behind all of the LMGT cars, and he has a lot of work to do to catch up to the leaders now. Scott leading comfortably in LMP1, a 5-second margin. Finn currently P2, Favre P3, Alvarez P4. Flash P5, Johto now up to P6 overall after the chaotic start in LMP1. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, rather chaotic scenes as we have an LMP1 car fighting LMGT cars for position as Jens comes through this group of LMGT cars. He's now on the back of Yalk, coming through Pouhon. He's going to have to lift significantly coming through here and lose some time before driving it round the outside of Yalk into the next corner. And now Jens is going to get trapped again behind Husky and Yannick. This is critical for Jens' race. He's lost a minute already as a result of that pit stop. And only now is he starting to close up to the cars ahead of him again now. He has 3 more LMGTs to clear before he can start really charging after the LMP1 cars again. Yellow flags out as Johto spins in the final chicane. Natty now leading in LMGT, sorry. Jens coming past Sem to come back up to 7th overall. Now closing down Natty as well in the FVR Audi. Jens is going to have to be an absolute man on a mission here in order to make these places up now and make this time up as well. We have another car in the pits. Dylan is in the pit lane to repair nose damage and to add some fuel to his car. None of the other GT cars showing damage at this stage. So perhaps just an unfortunate incident with the wall, as there is yet more raindrops falling here. Not quite enough to make the track wet just yet, but enough to get drivers thinking. And that's the problem with these LMP1 cars especially, is they are rather natural things to drive. It's not much thought required to make one go fast. However, when you start getting mixed conditions as well, you really start to find yourself being quite drained by driving one of these cars for long periods. Now Scott's leading in LMP1, currently with a 5.4 second lead, coming down through Pujon. He's just catching up to another car. I imagine that would be Dylan after that unscheduled stop. It is Dylan. Blue flags are displayed to the Porsche. Scott getting by after a little bit of time loss behind Dylan. That's going to allow Finn to close up by about 1.1 seconds at this stage. Meanwhile, Alvarez and Favre are really fighting, coming down towards Blanchimont. They are going side by side to Blanchimont now. Alvarez looking to the inside at the chicane. Late on the brakes, but Favre has that line for the switchback. Alvarez now just starting to pull ahead, coming down towards turn 1. And he goes hard on the brakes, down the inside. These cars still absolutely glued side by side, coming down towards Eau Rouge. Alvarez lifts ever so slightly, allows Favre to get in front of him again. Coming up now to the Camel Straight, Alvarez looking at the back of that Porsche 919 in front of him, thinking, how can I get past this guy? Is he going to have a look into the chicane? No, he's not. He's not going to have a look into the chicane. Will he look to utilise the traffic in front of them in Dillon to get past? Favre just ever so slightly slowed down by Dylan. Alvarez slightly slowed down also, down through Pujon again. 0.2 of a second splitting these two cars. Alvarez still absolutely glued to the back of Favre here, looking to the inside before Blanchimont. Is he going to try to move round the outside of Blanchimont again? Favre with the inside. Alvarez has a think about it, but he doesn't commit to it. Is Alvarez going to look to the inside at the chicane again? He looks to the inside, he goes hard on the brakes, and Alvarez goes deep at the chicane. Meanwhile, Favre pitting. Favre opting to pit there. An interesting call, considering that only one other car in LMP1 has pit. Both of those LMP1 cars, both of the Full Velocity Racing LMP1 cars, opting to change tyres at this stage. It has been 6 laps on the medium tyre now for them both, so it would make sense from a tactical point of view to change those tyres now and to get onto a faster tyre and maybe lose out to Jens on the long run and allow him to gain those positions back. However, it's also going to hand the advantage to the top 3 who have opted to start on the soft tyres and have all stayed out. It's going to create a significant buffer between those cars. Now, looking further back down the field to LMGT. Natty currently leads by 4 seconds from Johto, followed by Sem and Yannick. Husky currently running P5 as Ronin goes round on the exit of Stavolo. That was a large moment for the Honda driver. Now, Sonic's going to have an interesting issue here. He's just coming through traffic for the first time, I believe, in a more large sense, as he has already gone past Dylan once. Now, he's just set the fastest lap of the race at 2 minutes 0.6 second lap, about a second slower than qualifying so far. And now he's really sort of setting sail here. He's built up a 5.8 second gap to Finn in P2. And he is starting to pull away as well. Meanwhile, Alvarez 7.7 seconds behind Finn, starting to fall back ever so slightly. However, Jens now also almost back in this. He is a second ahead of the 2 full velocity racing cars, the 2 FVR Porsches. So right now, Jens has made back some time on that strategy call. It's just a question, because he is going to be doing a stop more than everyone else. Can he take advantage of a safety car potentially later in this race? Now, Ronin's 34 seconds ahead of Dylan at the moment. Dylan is the only LMGT to have stopped so far. He's currently on the soft tyre. And he seems to be pushing pretty hard as things are. Alvarez now has the fastest lap at 2 minutes 0.2. He's really closed up to Finn through this traffic. He's taken 2 seconds out of that gap to Finn in front of him in the WSR Porsche 919. Alvarez has nosed damage from something. So there has been another incident. Sem has nose damage also. Oddly though, nobody is showing rear damage on any of their cars. This could be interesting. Scott still leading comfortably. 7.5 seconds is the gap at the moment. We're about 20 minutes in, so that means he has been pulling about 0.7 of a second a lap in terms of gap to Finn. Huh? Now the other thing to watch here is Yannick is chasing Johto down. Yannick on the soft tyre, Johto on the medium tyre. Both drivers in Porsche 911 RSRs, the fuel almost identical as well between them. The real deciding factor will be the tyre compound in this battle. Yannick's soft tyres are extremely worn. Johto's mediums have been on his car just for the same amount of time, however they're a lot less worn than the soft tyres at this stage. Jens currently up to P4 again, 2 seconds ahead of Favre, 45.5 seconds behind Alvax. So if Alvax were to do a pit stop now, he would come out behind Jens and Favre, but ahead of Flash, I believe. Now, Natty is still P7 overall, leading in LMGT. He's currently on the soft tyre, and the same problem for him as Yannick behind Johto. Both of those cars on the soft tyre at the moment, and both showing quite high wear as things are. I couldn't hear you. The LMGT is being lapped again by the second half of the LMP1 field that pitted early. Sam has also pit recently. He's on fresh soft tyres at the moment. Currently setting personal best sectors as well by a significant margin. It's a good indicator that he's made the correct choice on tyre for this particular moment, especially considering the fact that there is rain on and off in the forecast today. The other thing to think about as well is the fact that he does have Sonic immediately behind him. Sonic obviously having an 11.5 second lead over Finn, who has a 7 second lead over Alvax. Alvax currently struggling a little bit with nose damage, however not too badly, as Jens is struggling to keep up with him. Now, looking at Jens is currently on his way towards Blanchemont, just leaving Stavelot now. He is on the soft tyre, he's been on it for quite some time after his early pit stop. And he is in the process of digging into the lead that he's handed Sonic after having an incident earlier. Now this could be interesting because Jens is under not a lot of pressure, but a little pressure from Favre. Favre currently closing up as a result of the lap traffic. Setting a purple first sector as well in the process. So these Porsche 919s really starting to come alive at this stage. Now, just looking through the rest of the field, we're about 30 minutes in. These cars are supposed to be stopping roughly every 40-ish minutes, 45 minutes, maybe a bit less than that. So it wouldn't shock me if soon that we see a lot more pit stops and a lot more pit lane action. Now, just starting to look at some of the medium shod runners. We have Johto running the medium tyre, Husky running the mediums, Yalk running the mediums, Ronin running the mediums, and Sem running the softs with nose damage. Scott currently leading quite comfortably. He's going to be due in the pits again in about 12 to 13 minutes or so, so right around that 45-minute mark or so. Currently has a 13-second lead. Alvarez trailing Finn in P2 by about 9 seconds. Jens trailing him by about 42 seconds. Jens is on a bit of a comeback today. He got damaged relatively early on in the race and is now trying to make up as much time as he possibly can on his way back up towards the top 3. You know what? Let's have a look at GT again just for a moment. Matty's still leading by 8.2 seconds. Johto currently P2 still in GT with the medium tyres on. Yannick P3, and there's a 10-second gap followed by Husky, Yalk, Ronin, and then a huge 40-second gap to Dylan, followed by Sem, who has just pit again to repair that damage and fill the car up even more with fuel. Dylan in the pit lane again. Must mean that his soft tyres have started to go off a little bit more than he could deal with. The other interesting thing here as well is the fact that his teammate Yannick is still out on track trying to rack up laps, although he's only got about 2 more laps of fuel. The blue flag is shown to Yannick as well. That's going to be for Scott coming through, the race leader in LMP1. And the overall leader as well. And Yannick is coming into the pit as well as Scott. Both of those cars obviously got to the point with those soft tyres where it would be quicker to change them than to stay on them. be interesting to see what tyre option Scott chooses. And Scott in the pit box now. Alvax just on his way past now as well, so Alvax opting to stay out for another lap or two. Finn opting to stay out for at least another lap as well. It's going to allow Jens to catch up significantly. It's going to close that gap down from about a minute to a hair under 20 seconds, I believe. No, Jens has come out ahead of Scott. Scott has a 3-second penalty for cutting the pit lane track limit. Needed on entry or exit. It's going to be really unhelpful, considering the fact as well that Favre is only 9 seconds behind him at this stage. Now the interesting thing here as well is Jens is going to have to stop shortly as well. Although he's going to stop in about 5 or 6 laps time, as he did stop relatively early on in the race. Meanwhile, Alvax ahead of him, 36 seconds up the road and getting closed down on by Jens. 11 seconds behind Finn in the lead now. He's surely going to be due a pit stop soon as well, because his fuel is in the red, his tyres are mostly red as well, and funnily enough his front bumper is flashing red with damage. Really not a comfortable position to be in if I was in that Audi right now, knowing that I was going to be not only chased for my position, but also the fact that I have one of the fastest drivers in this league chasing me down as well. Be deeply uncomfortable position to be in as a driver. Now, Joto's in the pit lane at the moment. That's going to allow Husky to now cycle through to the lead of LMGT, followed by Natty. Natty has stopped already and is currently on his out lap. So this is going to put Husky in a rather uncomfortable position. He's going to hopefully be ahead of Natty. It's just by a question of how much. Joto exits the pit lane now. What tyre has he opted for? Joto opting for a fresh soft tyre. It's a good call considering the speed that the soft has shown so far, as well as the fact that it is pretty clearly the best tyre to be on at the moment. He's come out about 10 seconds behind Natty, but well, he's come out side by side with Yannick. That's not ideal, but Yannick is running a slightly different strategy to the Nexus Porsches in the Nova Porsche. Alvaric's in the pit lane now as well, with no fuel left whatsoever as he pits in. Coming round turn 1 now on the inside line, running down to the endurance pit lane to receive some fuel and some tyres. Alvaric's now in the pits. This is going to cycle him through to being probably around about P5, I would imagine, with the way the current pit stops are playing out. Alvaric's now leaving the pit lane. What tyre has he chosen? Husky in the pits as well, currently leading LMGT. Alvaric's opting for another fresh set of soft tyres. Alvaric's just catching the 3-second penalty there for cutting the pit line on the exit. Finn now in the pit lane from the lead of LMP1. He's going to be needing tyres and fuel here. Now Finn's just receiving fuel in the pit lane as well. That's going to allow Jens to cycle through to the lead with his early pit stop complete. It's going to be a rather interesting result because of the sheer number of alternate strategies coming into play here. What's interesting is so far we've not had any safety cars. It could be almost one of the longest safety car free race periods we've had so far in DRA and the IEC. Could especially as well provide some interesting dynamics in terms of the strategy later on, with so many different drivers choosing different strategy options, and with the weather coming into play as well. Jens now just catching up to the back of Sem. Do you have stick drift, Johto? Ah. Jens is just starting to come under pressure from Sonic here at the moment. Gap's 1.5 seconds and coming down relatively quickly. Certainly going to provide an interesting situation as we just get up towards the halfway point of this race. Jens 3.5 tenths purple through sector 1. Sonic now half a second from the back of Jens. These two have really closed up together over the last lap or so as a result in the difference between them in tyre strategy. Jens had to pull an early stop off as a result of damage very early in the race. Scott is currently sticking to his original plan of just going as fast as possible and seeing what happens. And that's allowed him to catch all the way back up to Jens, potentially pass for the lead here as well. Scott looks to the inside of Jens and drives it right the way past him, coming down towards Eau Rouge now. Scott now just starting to pull away from Jens. Gap now almost 2 seconds after only half a lap. Now Jens has opted to stop. He's going to need tyres and fuel. This might actually hand him an advantage later in the race though, if he can save tyres and fuel for just a little bit longer. Just because if he's able to make it almost an hour after that very early stop, if he were to take a... Interestingly, he's opted to take a soft tyre again, I believe. If he'd have opted to take the medium tyre, we would have seen a slight shift in where he would be by the end of this race. He would likely finish this race in the lead if he'd have taken a medium tyre. Flash also in the pit lane running an alternate strategy too. He's opting for some fresh tyres and more fuel as well. That's going to allow Alvarez to jump up to P4 overall, 11 seconds behind Finn, who is 20 seconds behind Favre. However, Favre is going to need to stop again very shortly for tyres and fuel of his own, which is going to allow Finn to jump up to second, Alvarez to jump to third. And that will continue the strategy shuffling game that's going on at the moment, right the way through to the final hour of this race. Now, Scott is leading by about 15 seconds. Favre trying to almost shove his way past Yannick on the way up to Kemmel Straight. If Favre were to stop now, he is going to come out between Jens and Flash, if my maths is right. To stop is costing these LMP1 drivers about a minute at the moment, so we'll place him back about between Jens and Flash. Now, with the way this strategy battle is playing out in LMGT, things have shuffled around a little bit more now. Natty is currently leading, Yannick currently P2, Ronin P3, Husky P4, Yalk P5, followed by Johto in 6th, Dylan in 7th and Sem in 8th. Sem has some damage on the front of his car. No one else has got damage on their cars at the moment, so it does look like that might have been an isolated incident. Favre now in the pit lane. This is going to allow Alvax and Finn to jump up to 2nd and 3rd respectively. It's also going to allow Jens the time and the space to close that gap all the way down, and Favre will come out either just ahead or just behind of Jens after this stop. Huh? Flashes what, sorry? Yeah, I can see he's got damage, but he's got going again, so we'll leave it green for now. If I end up seeing another car with damage, when we get to the point if we've got 3 cars going round with damage simultaneously, I'll go to safety car just so we can get the stops and everything out the way, just so that we've got, you know, cars that aren't damaged doing the laps. But yeah, as things are, Sonic is currently leading by nearly 40 seconds in LMP1. He's just gone purple by half a second in the first sector alone. And he's driving like a man possessed today. Huh? Yeah, it's probably Sem, but I already clocked that. Now let's ride on board for a lap with Scott. Three and a half tenths purple in sector 1. It's a good start. Scott still comfortably leading as things are. 41-second gap to Finn. Alvarez 3.7 seconds behind Finn now, so he's picked the pace up just a little bit. Jens 37 seconds behind Alvarez. Favre 11 seconds behind him. Flash is a lap down on the LMP1 leader Scott now. He is a minute behind his teammate and nearly 3 minutes behind Scott. Natty is still leading in LMGT, followed by Yannick, followed by Ronin, followed by Yalk and Husky, who are having a massive fight as Favre just shoots through there to lap them both. Now, Finn just coming down towards Pouron. In the back of shot you can see Alvarez. Gap has come down to 3 seconds now. Now down to 2 seconds as Finn gets stuck behind Sem in the corner. Alvarez now 9/10 of a second behind Finn, comfortably in the German driver's slipstream. Alvarez still closing that gap down to Finn. Tyre difference is making a significant that's a safety car. Scott is just coming round Stavelot, so he's just after the sector 2 line. Yeah. If you look at Blanchemont on the track map, the single car going up towards Blanchemont, that's him. This is going to be a long safety car, by the way. Because we've got multiple cars, multiple laps down on their respective class leaders. This is going to take a minute to sort out. Johto, I think you know what I'm about to tell you. I'm looking at you and Dylan on the stream at the moment. I would suggest allowing a slightly larger gap. Yeah. I'm just waiting for the safety car train to form, and then we'll start sorting out who's getting laps and who's not. Because right now it's looking like it'll be Ronin, yourself, Dylan and Sem are all going to get a lap in GT. And then in you're gonna, so in a minute, Johto, I'll explain what's gonna happen with unlapping. So we're gonna get Scott to stay at 50 miles an hour where he's at, and then yourself, Flash in the LMP1 class, Dylan and Sem are all going to pass when we get to the point where we can actually do it on the run towards Blanchimont. We're going to get yourself, Dylan, Sem and Flash from LMP1 to pass Sonic and get a lap back. Sonic's going to stay at 50 miles an hour while you do that, and then when you've all got that lap back, that's when we're going to open the pit lane and allow everyone to pit, so that we don't have to do the shuffle afterwards. Yeah. And then Flash as well in the FVR Porsche is also going to go through with you guys, and you're basically all going to charge off into the distance for a lap and a half to get that lap back, and then we're going to start getting people in the pit lane. Right, now would be a good time. Yeah. Flash is allowed to go by, and then Sem has to clear past everyone as well. And then, yeah, we'll get everybody to close up again, and we'll get Scott to stay at about 50 miles an hour for the time being. Just because you guys have run off nearly, just in the unlapping so far, you guys have run off nearly a quarter of a lap in the time it's taken him to get to Blanchimont, so... can you just tell Flash that he is allowed to pass the LMGTs in front of him just for safety? Alvarez has just pitted in a closed pit lane. Yeah. Just tell him to cancel everything and drive through it, and that's fine. Oh, he's taken tyres. He didn't take fuel though. Right. How far are you guys from being unlapped? Right. In that case, when Flash catches up to the back of the field, that's when he's no longer allowed to pass anybody, so that's when he's caught up, and then we'll open the pit lane at the end of this lap. Just yeah, I'm just looking at gaps at the moment. Right, can you tell Sonic he can now speed up to 70 miles an hour if he wants, and the whole field can speed up? Just because now that we're all back together in a group, we can actually start sorting through this fairly quickly. Pit lane is open, so... So yeah, right now we're under safety car because we've had a single car LMGT crash that was really severe. We've gone through the unlapping process now. Pit lane is open and it is going to get busy because with 40 minutes left on the clock, if you were to pit now, you can make it to the end again without stopping. This is going to be interesting because this has effectively brought Jens all the way back into the fight within LMP1 because of the pit strategy he was running. Would you, Joto, would you mind informing the following drivers that they are currently under investigation? Natty, Jens, following too close. Favre, following too close. Alvarez, following too close. Ronin, following too close. Right, in a minute we're gonna get the classes shuffled and get everyone sorted out on the. No, we'll do it on the Kemmel Straight because Yalk has a penalty that he's serving and Alvarez has dropped back to let him serve it without overtaking, which is good. Right. Right. We're now in a spot where, could you tell Jens that if he wants to crank it up to 150 kph he can do so? Because we're in a position now where we can go green at the end of this lap. Huh? Yeah, they have shuffled. Alvarez may have been a bit naughty and we'll look at that later. Yeah. Yeah. Tell him to use the one on the steering wheel, because he should have one on his. Just tell him to speed up and I'll tell you when to tell him to stop speeding up. Third gear at about... Tell him about another 500 RPM and he'll be there in second gear. A little bit more than that. If he sits at about 700 RPM he'll be at 90, which is about the right speed. Yeah, right about there is perfect. Yeah, 4,700 RPM will hit him at 90 miles an hour, which is what the speed we're looking for is. Right. Can you reiterate now to the drivers that there is another 3 of them under investigation for following too close? Yeah. They can all start bunching up a little bit now if Favre wants to bunch up a little bit. And we're back underway in the LMP1 field. Yalk is leading us back to green in LMGT, followed by Husky, followed by Natty, followed by Yannick, followed by Dylan, Ronin, Joto and Sem. Both of the Nova Porsches really fighting quite hard here, coming down towards the end of the Kemmel Straight. Dylan losing out big time there. He's just lost 2 positions in the space of 1 corner. Jens starting well on the restart. He is just easing the gap out at the front of the LMP1 field. He's currently under pressure from both of the FVR Porsches. Scott on the medium now, looking to run to the end of this race. Finn on the soft tyre. Alvarez on the medium tyre also. All of these LMP1 cars will now make the end of the race in this state. Husky now leading in LMGT. Yalk P2, Natty P3, Yannick P4 coming under pressure from Ronin. Ronin now up to P4 in class. He's starting to pressure Natty for P3 with the Honda NSX. There's a slight bit of contact there between Yannick and Joto coming through turn 1. Sem now pressurising Yannick as well, going through Radion, coming up towards the Kemmel Straight now. Sem pulling out of the slipstream alongside the Porsche. They are wheel to wheel now going down Kemmel Straight. Sem has the inside line into that next corner, and he is through comfortably up into P6 in LMGT. Ronin still in 5th place now in LMGT. Starting to feel the pressure just a little bit. Husky currently in control and in the lead of LMGT. Yalk currently P2, Natty P3, P4 is Joto, fighting with Ronin coming down towards this next corner. Meanwhile in the LMP field, Jens still leading rather comfortably at the front. Favre P2, Flash P3, Scott P4, Finn P5, Alvax P6. Yeah, he's caught a barrier or something, because he's got nose damage. We're going to keep going for the time being. He's opted to pit. I'd imagine he's going to put a soft tyre on and go for LMGT fastest lap now. With 30 minutes left in the race, it's logical. Oh, we're under safety car again. That was huge. Huh? Dylan went into the barriers hard at Radion. That was a big impact, it's why I went straight for safety car. Johto. Another 3 drivers have got themselves on the naughty list for following too close. Can you remind them this time that if they keep doing it, it's a 5-second penalty for every time we catch them doing it? Yeah, but can you just remind them that if they're following too close and we catch them again following too close, it's 5 seconds every time? Yeah. Oh, don't worry, I know. That name appears for the following too close so far. Five times. I wouldn't worry about it. Yes. Yeah, the pit lane's open. Are you able to confirm that whichever one of the two Nova drivers it was that went in the wall is alright from a medical standpoint, like he's okay to continue? Okay, we'll let him continue. We'll let him continue, but obviously, you know, just advise him that it is at his own risk if he does feel uncomfortable at the minute. Oh, don't worry, he's in the book. He's been booked again for that. I am keeping a tab on it. Right now he's up to... Yeah, if we've got P1s mixed into GTs and they can overtake safely, they're allowed to overtake now. We've got 3 out of order. Alvarez, Finn and Jens are all out of order. They're behind Natty. Yeah. If it's helpful at all, currently we are up to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Huh? Yeah. We're currently up to 15 safety car infringements, most of which are for following too close. Of those, basically 75% are repeat offenders, yeah. So people shouldn't be surprised post-race when they get 30 plus seconds, because one of them is like a 7-time repeat offender. Like half of these are just one driver. So yeah, there shouldn't be any shock when there's, you know, 30 odd seconds worth of penalties coming to some of these guys post-race. And the LMP1s are underway again. Jens is going to be under some serious pressure for the last 20 minutes here. He's got Alvarez and Finn on his tail on fresh soft tyres. Meanwhile, he's on a medium tyre. It is fresh, and he does have a lot less fuel than the two cars behind him. However, it doesn't mean that it's going to be impossible, and we are going to be staying green for that one, I think, because he's managed to get going again. Scott got tagged somewhere in coming off Lacon. Huh? I don't know what it is about Spa and producing grandstand finishes, but this is just getting better and better. Alvarez has just got past Finn. He's now closing up to Jens in a really big way, coming through turn 1. Alvarez thinking about a move, possibly along the Kemmel Straight if he has the momentum. Meanwhile, up at the front, Favre still in control at the front of LMP1. Flash now starting to come under pressure from Alvarez as well. Coming down towards the end of Sector 2, Alvarez has closed that gap up now down to half a second, and it's only becoming smaller as he gets to the back of Flash. Flash starting to drive defensively to protect from Alvarez. Alvarez having none of it, looking to the left and to the right of Flash, trying to find a space to go through big enough for that Audi. Those two cars absolutely nose to tail coming through Blanchimont. Alvarez looking to the outside, looking to the inside, looking to the inside. Alvarez is ahead and into second place, down the inside into the final chicane. 2.7 seconds now for the Spanish driver to catch up to Favre. Can he get the lead of this race? Giotto back in the lead comfortably in LMGT. Husky defending from Natty. Natty currently third in LMGT after a bit of a moment earlier on the strategy. Ronin currently P4, Sem P5, Dylan P6, Yalk P7, Yannick P8. Yalk now just passing Dylan on his way through now to start catching up to his teammate Sam. Ronin starting to put the pressure onto Natty as well now. Going back up towards the front of the field. Sonic is starting to ramp the pace up and close up to Flash now. Flash has had a moment because he's now behind both Finn and Jens. Alvarez 3.1 seconds now behind Favre. Can he catch up at all before the end of this race? He has 15 minutes to do so, so he's got about 8 laps to close that gap down. Meanwhile at the back, Dylan and Jalk are really going at it here again. Jalk's starting to defend from Dylan, the headlights come on. Sem also starting to attack a little bit as well, catching up to the train, being held up by Husky. Husky holding Natty behind him, Ronin as well, and then Sem is also closing up to this fight. So this is going to become a 4-way fight for second place in LMGT very shortly. That was Dylan. He's round. He's going again though, so we'll let him keep going. Same as earlier, if we get to a third car with damage, at that point we'll throw a safety car again, but we're really close to the end, so it would only be a quick yellow. Dylan's opted to pit as well now, so we're going to stay green for the time being. Up at the front of the field, Alvarez has closed the gap down to Favre to 2.5 seconds. He's starting to put a lot of pressure onto Favre. Favre's tyres in a significantly worse condition than Alvarez's. Alvarez really starting to ramp the pace up now as well, starting to pull away from Jens in P3. Finn starting to pressure Jens for P3 as well, so this is going to be interesting. There's 2 separate and intertwined battles for position here. There's one going on for 4th and 3rd, one going on for 1st and 2nd, and then one for 2nd and 3rd where the drivers are fighting a strategy battle between one another. Right now, Alvarez is currently 2.4 seconds behind Favre. Starting to close up and have that accordion effect again, where the gap goes up through one section of the circuit and comes down drastically in another. Dylan just hopping out of the way there for Jens and for Finn. Jens going through the first sector line 4 tenths faster than anybody else so far this race. Meanwhile, looking further down the field, the fight for P2 in LMGT is really starting to hot up, as we have 4 cars fighting for that position. We have Husky, Natty, Ronin and Jalk all fighting for those positions, and Sem is about to get in on this as well. Husky having a huge slide there out of the final chicane. Now coming into turn 1, Natty leading this group, 4.5 seconds behind Johto, so not a lot that's going to happen there for Johto. All he's got to do is continue to keep it on the track for another 5 laps. Jalk starting to pressure Ronin. Ronin starting to look more and more aggressively towards the back of Natty, trying to find a way past the Audi in front of him. Jalk currently attacking as well. all of these cars setting personal best sectors so far on this tyre stint, and there is 5 of them in contention for 1 place right now. This is unbelievably close in the LMGT class. Ronin goes off in a big way at Stavelot. That's not a good end to that battle. We're going to stay green for the time being, Johto. That was a big moment, but we're at a point now where if we go to safety car, we're going to be finishing under safety car. The fight in LMP1 has really closed up as well. The gap between Alvax and Favre now only 1 second. Alvax trying to take advantage of the Audi's better hybrid deployment at high speed. Coming up through Radion now towards the Kemmel Straight. The gap going up slightly as the Porsche deploys its hybrid. As we get to the later phases of the lap, that gap's going to come down significantly. It's also going to come down significantly as both of these cars are rapidly catching traffic. Regardless of what happens here now with this traffic, we are almost guaranteed to see a new winner in the IEC today. With 5 minutes left on the clock, 6 minutes left on the clock even, we have the top 3 places occupied by cars that have never won previously in LMP1. Alvax now 0.3 of a second behind Favre as they close up to traffic. Coming through Blanchemont now, the gap at 0.3 of a second. They're going to start coming across LMGT traffic soon as well. Alvax just a quick look to the inside to unsettle Favre there into the final chicane. Alvax now looking to the outside on turn 1. He had a think about it, but he didn't commit to it. Now he's looking to put the power down as fast as he can, coming off of turn 1. There is some rain in the air, and there is a little bit of moisture building on the circuit now as well. It's not quite enough for intermediate tyres yet, but it is certainly enough to make these drivers start thinking about just how aggressive they're being. 4.5 minutes left on the clock here. Both of these cars, both Favre and Alvarez, coming through the LMGT field now. It will likely be this pass through the LMGT field that decides the outcome of this race. Through Pouhon now, catching up to more GT cars on the exit. And there's contact. Alvarez has nose damage. Favre hasn't got any damage. Yalk starting to be... Whoa! Favre goes really deep into the gravel. Alvarez stops to allow him to rejoin onto the circuit. Finn goes off as well. Jens is coming into this now as well. Jens could win the race. Jens is past Alvarez. He's got a 7/10 gap to Favre. Favre has no damage, but he has significantly more worn soft tyres. Alvarez starting to really pressure Jens on those soft tyres now. Flash starting to pressurise Finn as well. Finn dropping down to 5th as a result of that off. Alvarez all over the back of Jens now, coming down towards Radion. They've only got a couple more LMGT cars to pass before they're in the clear again. They have 2 laps left on the timer. Favre now has to defend for his life for the next 2 laps, or lap and a half even, to make sure that he wins this race. Favre now coming down through Pouhon, running a little bit wide. Jens going round the outside of Sen. Alvarez going down the inside, staying absolutely glued together. As Natty spins off into the wall. Whoa. Natty just left. Was that a rage quit? The LMP1 battle starting to get really close again here. Jens looking all over the back of Favre. Alvarez there too as well. 3 cars in position to win this, and they have 1 lap left. Favre goes wide on the exit of the final corner. The fight now looks to be between Alvarez and Jens for P1. This isn't over yet. Favre getting the slipstream along the Kemmel Straight. This is a 3-way fight for the lead. Alvarez starting to defend. Favre gets past. Can he close up enough in the final 2 sectors to Jens to grab the win here? Will Favre start attacking more, or is he going to focus on defending? There we go. The timer has run out. We are on the final lap. All Jens has to do is let the 2 cars behind him squabble for 2nd place, and he will win this race. Favre starting to close up now. Alvarez wide and off through the grass. Alvarez closing up again, coming through Pouhon now. Favre a little bit deep. Alvarez closing up even more. Jens still slightly ahead. Favre dropping back now from Jens. It looks like we may not be getting a new winner here today. The gap's starting to come down between Favre and Jens again. Alvarez all over the back of Favre. Jens coming down to the final chicane now. Does Favre think about a last minute lunge? No, he doesn't. Although he might get the drive off the corner. Favre absolutely sideways. Jens wins at Spa after the chaos of the first lap. Favre comes second, Alvarez third, Flash fourth, Finn fifth, Sonic comes back sixth. Giotto wins in LMGT, Sem comes second. Husky comes through in third in LMGT for Nexus. Fourth is Yannick in LMGT. Fifth is Yalk. Sixth, Dylan. And seventh, still sat in the pit lane, is Ronin. Huh? I didn't catch that, Giotto, sorry. Oh. I don't know what it is about Spa and DRA and crazy finishes, but that's the second time we've come here, and it's the second time we have had an absolutely bonkers finish. Huh? It was a slow burn right up until the first safety car. Pardon, Giotto? If you, yeah, no, we don't usually, so if you want to hop out, you can hop out. We're still waiting on the timer to run down because we've got a car, there you go, we had a car sat in the pit lane. That's alright. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in to the Twitch stream. I've been Joe90, I've been your host for today. I'll be hosting again in a couple of weeks' time when DRA comes back for round 4. And yeah, thank you very much everyone.